Hi everyone, my name is Iva Brsic and I'm coming from Croatia. And I'm an educator for over 10 years now. And I've been working with parents and educators on domestic violence, bullying prevention, nonviolent communication, and media effects. And my topic, I think it's very important because during pandemic, parents and children, families, right, um, they they had it tough. But I think no one talked about it too much, and that topic just didn't get enough attention from the public or experts. So now I'll be talking about effects of online learning or online schooling on family life to see what we learned and how to help parents and children uh, to get through those problems. So let's start. So this crisis has given us an insight into advantages and disadvantages of online schooling or online education. And now we have opportunity to see firsthand what this type of education is bringing to the families. So let's see. First, I'm going to start with disadvantages because everything's got advantages and disadvantages. And I think it's important to talk about it because that will give us a better insight in things that families got through and what changes it brought to them. Well, this was one of the biggest problems. I'm going to speak about it as a mother of a 10-year-old boy that I experienced all those problems that I'll be talking about. And it's a greater commitment for parents. Well, the problem was that the parent is the one who needs to explain the new material to a child, needs to review the assignments, make sure the assignment is written and sent to the teacher for review. Also, as a parent, I needed to make sure that he knows the software, how to use it. And that's especially true when we speak about children, when we talk about children from first to fourth grade. Also, that wouldn't be so much a problem if the parents didn't need to work from home. So they need to balance work and household chores and caring of younger children, helping the siblings. And that was pretty difficult. Parent as a teacher. Well, that is one of the problems also, because when we talk about parent as a teacher, we need to think about how a child is seeing a parent. Children needed to change the way they learn, and they needed to accept a new authority who is learning them, who is teaching them. And that was the problem because the child experienced the parent through the role of a parent, not a teacher. And the child knows exactly what to expect from a parent and what goes under that role of a parent. And the role of a teacher is not one of them, at least not on a conscious level. And that's also the problem because child knows exactly that if he misbehaves, he knows what the parent will do. And he knows that they love him unconditionally, and just how they're going to react to his behaviors, that he can relax and be around them the way he can be around the teacher, professors, other children, and so on. Also, a child is at his territory, in his home, when he feels relaxed, secure, very comfortable. And he does things that he can't do somewhere else, like, I don't know, throw a book, cry, he doesn't understand something, refuse to write homework, negotiate with the parent. If I do that, then you have to let me do this, and so on. So that was one of the biggest challenges for all parents. As we can see, it's not easy to handle, especially if you have 2 or more children. Lack of a motivation. Well, at school, grades are motivation. The praise of a teacher is a motivation. At home, it's pretty different. In school, child receives grades and also has a direct interaction with the teacher. He also solving some tests, and this is how they examine if he knows something or not. At home, he doesn't have that kind of a motivation through grades. Also, I would say that having online schooling, children feel distant from a teacher, from grades, from obligations, and younger children from 1st to 4th grade, they experienced everything like a holiday, and they just didn't feel obligated doing anything. They just didn't see the sense of it, the meaning, why he needs to do something, because teacher is not the one telling him. The parent needs to tell him what to do and how to do it, and then send everything to a teacher, because in some schools they had Google Teams, and in some schools teacher would send everything he needs to do for that day through email, and the parent was the one telling the teacher, your teacher said you need to do this at that certain time, and of course sometimes that didn't work. So problem was that adults also struggled with working from home. I know a lot of parents and people who are not parents yet, that lack of motivation, they just didn't know how to motivate themselves to do something. And the work would pile up. And the problem is with children that they also needed to be motivated, and it was expected for them to do every chore, to do everything that is required from them, and no one gave them the right motivation to do it. Often something like that would happen. Lack of structure. One of the things is that children just didn't know how to structure their day, especially from 1st to 4th grade, because parents would do that, the school would do that for them. I also learned from older children that was a big problem for them. They just didn't know how to structure the day. And it would happen then they would have lots of things to do by the end of the evening, or too much time it would take them to do something. But once they learned how to structure a day, things got much better. And of course, now parents needed to do that for them and for themselves. And it's pretty difficult when you're working from home, you got 1, 2, or 3 children homeschooling, and you need to tackle your work, their school, household chores, and it's pretty difficult. Numerous distractions. At school, you got your classroom, your teacher, your classmates, and there is a board, teacher is talking, you need to write something, and so on. At home, you got lots of distraction. It's phone, computer, siblings, toys, dogs, whatever. And it's pretty difficult for children to focus on something, especially smaller children. But for older ones was also a big of a problem, especially the ones who had a younger sibling. And phones, lots of them told them that the phones were big problems because when they got messages or phone calls, it would be pretty difficult for them to go back to the class or to focus on the subject. And as we know, when we shift our focus from one topic to another, it takes about 15 minutes or longer to get back into the subject and to focus again. And spending more time in front of the screens than recommended. It's said that child should spend approximately 1 hour in front of the screens. In my experience, I think even less, about 45 minutes. Because when they're in front of the screens, we should know that media content, including educational content, is designed to stimulate our brain and secretion of dopamine and adrenaline. And that activates our reflexes, our instincts, and encourages to focus on a content. But over the time, it contributes to the development of addiction to a small screen. Because the brain just wants something that brought him that pleasure, that excitement. And after an hour, the whole body and the brain is overstimulated. So for me, the best option was 45 minutes and then break, if it's possible, of course. And the other thing is that children spend during pandemic too much time sitting without any play or physical movement, and that's the problem. And we know that physical movement and a play is crucial for learning and obtaining skills. Nowadays, in modern days, we have lots of children with all sorts of problems: obesity, nearsightedness, poor motor skills, problem with cognitive development, diabetes, and now the crisis just adds to all that problems. Too much sitting, too much time spent indoors in front of the screen. Overstimulation, as I already mentioned. Not enough physical activities. Children just sit too much and they just don't play, they don't move, they don't go to the nature. And we know that we and the nature are the one. We are tightly connected to nature. Now it's known that 20 minutes outside somewhere in a park, it doesn't have to be woods or somewhere else, it boosts the ability to learn, concentration, focus, health. So this is why it's important to go outside, but during pandemic, children just weren't able to do so. And we now experience these effects. Lack of face-to-face contact. One professor told me that after he went back to school, after online schooling was done, he realized something, that children just didn't know how to approach him. They didn't want to look him in the eye, and they were pretty confused. They didn't know how to start the conversation, and that social activities were missing, and they just didn't know what to do and how to adapt to normal interaction among people. Also, many families had problems with not enough computers. Everything was established by some rules that every family's got a computer, internet, and they can just log in and do what they're supposed to do. But lots of families, especially in Croatia, didn't have enough computers, especially if one parent is working from home, another parent is working from home, and especially if they have one or more children homeschooling. In one time during pandemic, there was a shortage of computers and cameras because parents just needed to go and buy extras, because they need it so the children can attend online school. Also problems with internet, speed internet, technical difficulties, they were very, very often. And now let's go to those good things that happen, because I always say if there is something bad, there is always something good. And I always search for good in every situation, no matter how difficult it is. Because every challenge, every situation gives us a chance to learn and to get something from it. So here it is. So child has a chance to perform tasks according to their schedule and the speed that suits him. Lots of time in school they have a schedule and they need to do it as the teacher says and can't have any other way. At home he can do it, I don't know, if he likes math, he can do that first, then later he can do science or whatever. He can do it before lunch, after lunch. I don't know, he can play with friends a little bit, then he can go and, I don't know, learn something else. So he can schedule his own day. And sometimes that works much better. Also, it gives him a chance to work on a school subjects that maybe are not so easy for him, that are more demanding. So children had more time to focus on those subjects. More time to learn. Usually teacher would give assignment one day and they had the whole day or 3, 5, or even a week to finish certain assignment. A way of learning that is close to a child. So learning in a classroom when they need to sit still, write something, listen to a teacher. For most of the children, it's pretty boring. Today, children live in digital world. They use digital content, video games, videos, social media, and this is how they learn. So through this pandemic and online schooling, they had a chance to use that content and that new technology for learning. And also that gave them a chance to, I would say, to learn more about the gadgets and small screens. They learn that they are not just for, I don't know, playing video games, uploading videos on social media, but to use it for research, for learning, to find their real purpose, I would say. And that brought smile to them. Of course, children were learning in more comfortable spaces. You can imagine sitting 45 minutes, it's not easy. And it's not easy to write for 45 minutes and listen to somebody. Our focus go away. Maybe chair is not so comfortable, so we can focus on what the teacher is saying. And at home, they can learn however they want. They can sit, they can lay, they can be on a sofa, armchair, on a beach, wherever they like, and whatever the place that suits them. Also, they didn't need to learn, they didn't need to waste time on the trip to school and from school. And as we know, sometimes it takes a long time to get to the point where we want to get it, because the traffic jams. And what do we have in the morning? Well, cranky children and under the stress, and they should be happy to go to school. They would be, or they should be cheered up and feeling happy and satisfied, and they're coming to school feeling all cranky and that's not so happy. And of course, when coming to school with that kind of attitude, the whole day then turns into one not so happy experience. And then we have cranky children that they don't want to learn, they don't want to obey teachers, they don't want to listen, and might cause a trouble. And of course, they could sleep longer. I know my son was very happy about it. Of course, less bullying. Lots of children experience bullying in the school, and for many of them, pandemic gave them the way out. They could be at home, and they didn't need to confront bullying and bullies every single day. The family is the one who is structuring its day, so the family could structure the day how it suits it. Father, mother, children, they can agree about the schedule and what would be the best way to schedule the day. And it gave them opportunity to have more free time and to spend it as they like it, doing things they like it. More quality time. They had more time to spend together, to bond, to experience different things, to learn something. And of course, parents had a better insight into child's life and school achievements, schoolwork, homework, and they had a chance to see if child needs help, and they could react much faster. They had better insights in child's abilities, maybe some problems if he has with the assignments and subjects. So let's see what kind of changes it brought to the family. Less stress in everyday life. Children had the opportunity to live a more peaceful life without so much homework, schoolwork, and all other activities they usually have. Trainings, all sorts of educations, activities after school. Lots of children have 5, 4, 3 activities extra after school day, and for lots of them, it's pretty challenging to handle everything and very tiring. No bullying, no frequent tests, and schedule was much more easier. Talking with parents and children, they all told me that the good thing was that they had little stress regarding everyday life. They just didn't have so much obligations, and they had more time for themselves because they just couldn't go where they were supposed to go. So they had more free time, and this is what they all said was one of the good things. As I said, more time for families to connect, to strengthen their mutual trust, to focus on each other. Parents could get better insight what their child needs, wants, what are his fears. They would talk much more, and they would learn more about each other, because everyday life's hectic. It's super fast, and parents just don't have enough time to talk to their children, really talk. They talk like, oh, how's your day? Did you get any grades? Okay, now we need to go to a soccer practice. And that's most of it. No real conversations. And now they had a chance for it. Better mechanism to deal with stress and insecurity. For older children, as I said, they had more material to cover, and it was more difficult for them going to online school than the regular one. But also they developed mechanism to deal with stress. They maybe didn't have them before or weren't so good, but now they developed it as parents. I think now we all have much better capabilities to deal with stress and everything that life brings us. Better balance between work and family. They just needed to learn how to do it, how to balance it. What is more important, what is not. Priorities shifted. People learned, oh, okay, my family is on the top. This is what is important. Our health, being together. I don't know, it's not important that we can have another toy. It's more important that we have, I don't know, good food that will bring us better health. Connecting with nature. Lots of people started going to nature, parks, picnics. They just felt they needed to go outside because sun, fresh air, daylight is something that boosts our immune system, boosts our, we feel better, and just it's very, very important. And people realize to connect with the nature, because then we feel better. Children will feel better. Remember how you feel when you go out and you walk around the woods or somewhere in the park. You feel energized, you feel happier. And of course, we realized how much important to us is social connection, friendship, family, and that we need to cherish that and work on that. And of course, we learn new skills. Children learn how to cook. I know people who decided to teach their children how to learn something, how to cook. They learn how to structure their day, how to organize themselves. They learn new skills regarding stress control, fear control. And this is what is important. They develop new skills that will help them go through life. Not just through crisis, but just for life, because we know the life is full of crises, and it's full of opportunities and problems. But if we have good skills to handle all the life is bringing us, then we won't have any problems. So this is it. If you have any questions, you can ask me, but this is it for now. Oh, we have 3 more minutes. The most important thing was to learn how to structure the day and how to motivate ourselves and the children. Yeah, the most important thing.
So Iva, I just wanted to comment, many of the things that you described for Croatia were also very much true for the United States. Yeah. I saw a lot of parallels between what you were saying and what we experienced here. So I think those feelings were probably universal, but I thank you. I know you have one question in the chat, but I just want to thank you for your presentation.
Thank you. No, I didn't have a chance to deal with disabled students, but I think for their parents and for them, it was even challenging, even more challenging, yeah.
So I asked this question because I deal only with disabled students, with their parents. Therein, the positive impact of the COVID-19 to this type of people is to rising their skills, everyday life skills. So I was amazed. I even did a research last year, and most of my students learn how to deal with everyday problems which they have in the family, or even they are alone at home. But right now there is a lack of social skills which we need to
Work on, yeah.
in the future. So I think that is the same situation like Serbia everywhere. And right now we still don't know what is going to happen on the first day of September, how we will start this academic year. So I right now make some plans what to do if the COVID-19 will start the fight against us again. So we need to exchange ideas just to help disabled, and not only disabled and typical students. It was a great topic, Eva.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a great topic, but I think that public just doesn't get it, and it doesn't focus on it. It's somewhere on the side.
It's true. Most of my parents from my students, they waited summertime to go somewhere to Croatia, to Greece, Montenegro, just for a holiday. And they don't think that it is still dangerous because disabled cannot receive vaccines. Nearly 60% of people here in Serbia are vaccinated against the COVID, but disabled students, disabled people cannot receive any kind of vaccine. So I don't know why. So that is they are in a greater risk than we are.
I know one of the things that my students didn't understand, you talked about socialization. And I don't think our students were aware of it. As I said the one time, I said they were complaining about they don't get to see their friends. They're tired of seeing them on Zoom, stuff like that. And I said to them, I said, you know, your teacher's the same way. I said, we were so used to like just walking down the hall, saying hello to somebody, having a conversation with them. I said, like, we can't do that anymore. Like, our lunch is go get a boxed lunch and go back to your office and eat it. And we were in some ways lucky that our school opened up. We had about 75%, we were in school 75% of the time after the middle of March. So at least we're able to see people more. And we're also very fortunate that, like in New York State, where I am, 70% of the adults over the age of 12 have been vaccinated. So it has really big implications for going back to school. But like I said, I think you highlighted a lot of really interesting, important things for consideration going forward. So I'd be curious to see where you take this kind of discussion. And hopefully you'll come back next year and tell us more about the work that you've done. So
I know my son was talking to me about his school. After the online schooling finished, he returned to school because in Croatia, kids from 1st to 4th grade turn back to school. And he said, you know, Mom, we don't have a break between classes. We need to stay in the classroom. We can't even go to the bathroom when we want. We can hang out with our friends. We can't go out. It was a pretty big deal for him, and he didn't like it. He missed that socializing, that freedom that he had as a child.
My son is my youngest son. He's on the 1st grade, in elementary school. In his class, he has 26 classmates, but all the classmates were divided into 2 groups, and even now he doesn't know who is his classmate because they were divided into groups, and he needs to realize who is his classmate. We will try to invite all of them somewhere just to know each other and
to meet. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, especially for children. Yeah, it's difficult for them because they're used to hang out, talk to each other, especially masks are a big problem. And not so much in schools, but in kindergarten, preschoolers. Teachers in preschool told me they had a big problem with parents and children. Parents just thought they are not interested enough or emotional enough toward the children. And they couldn't read empathy from their faces because of the mask. And children were a little bit of like frightened of them because of the masks. So, yeah, new way of communication.
One day we will smile and talk jokes about it.
Yeah.
We hope.
Hope so.
We hope, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for your presentation, Iva. I think you recorded it, so
yes, I did.
Make sure you share the link with us so we can post it on our website. So the next session starts at 15 past the hour. So you have a break of about 25 minutes. And I know Marinko is going to go for the record of going to the most sessions because you said you missed one since it started. So we applaud that as well. I think that's awesome. So enjoy the rest of the conference, and I'm sure you'll find a great session for the next time slot. So, and Iva, thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Okay, greetings from Serbia.
Bye.
Bye.